Hi everyone, this is Crystal. Welcome to part 2 of my Valentine's pattern tutorials. If you missed part 1, we drew this pattern right here and I taught you how to do the offset pattern. In today's tutorial, we're going to take that same drawing and we are going to create a background image like this that is also can be repeated and it's seamless. So, and then the third part, which will be coming up, we will create an image like this that we can then change the different colors on the background and we can display it. So that'll be part 3. This is part 2. And all the parts 1, 2, and 3 will all be linked in the description below. All right, let's get started. So if you were following along on the first video, you can just open that same document we were working on before. So I will open that one. If you are starting over, then you're just going to want to open a square document at a pretty high resolution. I'm using 3000 by 3000 pixels at 400 dpi, but you can use whatever size works for you in your iPad. Just make sure that it's at least 300 dpi if you're ever planning to print. Okay, so to do this background, what we're going to do is we're going to just turn off all the layers other than our pink, so we can work on our pink. Select our pink background and then make a new layer above it. So we have a layer above our background layer that's independent. Okay, and then for this brush, we are going to use, so I'm only using the built-in Procreate brushes just so everybody has this brush, but there's a lot of really great texture brushes out there, and this will work for any texture, but you want to make sure it's a texture that can be like overlapped and stuff. So we're going to be using in the organic this Hessian brush. So let me just show you what this looks like. It's kind of got these fun little lines, and when you tap it, it just kind of goes whatever which way. So, and I can layer this and I can make it all blended together. Does that make sense? But if I were to try to pick a texture brush, like, so under textures, there's this decimals brush. So this one, oops, hang on. I am on a turned off layer. So this one makes this like these cool dots, but then if I were to lift up my pencil and go back over it, they wouldn't line up anymore. So a brush like this that can't really blend together will not work for this method. All right, so I'll delete that. Okay, so we're going to create a new layer above our pink and grab this Hessian, I think that's how you say it, brush down here in the organics folder. Okay, and then we're going to take true black for this. So just get down close to black, double tap, and then you'll get to true black. All right, and then bring your brush to whatever size you want. I'm gonna go about 50%, I think. Let's try that. Oh, that's too big. Let's try, that looks good. So that one was about 27%. Okay, now what we're gonna do is we are going to just make our little just random pattern texture only in the center. You do not want to cross the edges at all. So we'll just tap, fill it in, and fill in the middle. All right, once you're happy with it, that looks pretty good to me, then we are going to split it the same way we did our actual pattern in the last tutorial. So what we'll do is we will create a layer above our texture and we're going to fill it with, it doesn't even matter what color. I'm going to use this green just so it's something really easy to see. And then we will lower the opacity on that green layer. You click the N and then lower the opacity. And then we'll select our fill layer and our texture layer right here. So we have both of those selected and we're going to group them together. Close the group, swipe and duplicate. So we have two groups that are the texture and the overlay. Okay, so now we're going to split them. So we're going to take one, hit our arrow, You want to make sure you have snapping turned on and uniform and snapping. I have the snapping, you turn it on right here, and I have my distance at about 24. Okay, and we're going to grab the first group and we're going to slide it to the left until it snaps to center. And you know it's going to be center because you start to see the orange crosshairs. So let's see here. I'm going to zoom out a little bit. All right, I can see them on the sides, but I don't see them right here. So that makes me think that it might be trying to snap to something it's not supposed to. So I am going to increase my distance a little bit farther. Let's see if that helps me get the orange. Oh, there we go. So now I have an orange line here and an orange line down there. So that's how I know it's completely centered. If I didn't have that orange line, I only had the blue line, like it was slightly off, then that is not what we want. So there we go. Okay, now we're gonna grab the other group right below it, grab our arrow, and slide that one over until we also see the orange crosshairs. Okay, so if you can see, I actually have a line down here. So that means it did not work right. So we're going to try that all over again. So double tap to undo. Okay, so I got my two groups. Let's try this again. This is why we have to be really careful about those orange crosshairs. So, okay, there we go. Orange cross out here, and I have the plus right there. So that should, oh, myself removed. There we go. Okay, now I'm gonna grab this one and move that one over. Okay, I have the line, and now there's no line. Okay, so that time we got it. Okay, so now we'll open our groups, delete the green, and then we will merge those two textures together. Okay, so now we're gonna make a new layer. Well, actually you don't have to, we'll just stay on this layer. Go back to our black, grab our brush, and we're gonna fill in just this part right here. Do not go over any of the edges, and we don't want to mess with any of these sides. So now we can just tap, fill it in so that it looks nice and blended. All right, I'm happy with that. So now we're going to repeat our process. So we are going to make a new layer, grab our green and drag it in, reduce the opacity, select both of those and group them. And then we're going to duplicate. And this time we will move up and down because we're trying to get to this section and this section. So we will grab our arrow and go up to the top. And we got to make sure we find those orange crosshairs. I see blue. There we go. Orange on all four sides. Okay. So now we're going to grab the bottom one and snap that one into place too. Okay, so I see the orange crosshair right there in the middle and on the bottom and on the side. Unclick, there's no weird lines, so we know we got it. Open that up, delete the green layers, open that one, delete the green layer, and then merge those ones together. Okay, so now still on this layer, let's go back to our black, grab our brush, and we are going to fill the middle again. Do not go over the edges. All right, once it looks nice and blended to you, then we are going to split it again so that we can get to these sides. So we will create a new layer above our texture, grab any color, fill it in, reduce the opacity, select our fill layer and our texture layer, group, close the group, and duplicate. Okay, so we'll grab the first one and move to the left. And once again, we got to find our orange crosshairs. Okay, this time it went real fast. So I got all of them on this side, and right there. Oh, I did have it. All right, got it. Okay, grab our other group and do the same thing. Okay, I have it on the side and down the middle. Looks good. Unclick, no weird green lines. Now we can open up our groups and delete each green fill layer and then merge those together. Okay, last time, grab our black and our brush and just fill in that little spot where we still had some. Okay, so right there is our finished texture. So what we're going to do is we're going to save this so it can be used over and over again, and this is going to be able to completely repeat in any pattern. So we're going to turn off our background color, and so it's hard to see because it's just black on black, but we have our texture here, and we're going to save this as a PNG. So we're going to hit the wrench, hit share, hit PNG, and then you can save it to your camera roll, or I really suggest for things like this to save to your files. So I'm going to hit save to files, and then on my iPad I have a folder created called repeat textures, so I will put it in there. If you want to create a new folder, you just press this little folder button, type in whatever you want to type it, and then hit save. So because I've already have things in here that are like untitled artwork, it's asking if I want to replace it, but I'm going to keep them, so we'll keep both. All right, now you could add that image back in, but since we already have one, we don't need to. But we're going to turn on our background layer, our pink again, and then this time, so I create it in black because it's easy to manipulate. You can recolor it. So if I wanted it white, I would just swipe with 2 fingers to alpha lock, or you can just click the layer and hit alpha lock right there. And then I could take a brush, any big brush, let's see, that would probably be fine. Oh, probably not fine. I could take any big brush that was nice and, well, I'll just use one of my favorites, is this one. Any big brush, and like I could create it, I could change it to any color. So like I can turn it blue or whatever color I would want it. But one of the things I love to do is to take a black or a white image and to mess with the blending mode. So if you hit this little N, then you can select all these blending modes. So if you scroll down, one of my favorite ones is like overlay. That one looks really good. Or soft light, which is just like a darker version of that. And then you can lower your opacity however you want to. For our image, we're going to actually use a white overlay. So we're going to take our layer. I could either just select white and color it in, or I can go to this little like magic wand right here, hit the hue, saturation, brightness, and then hit layer. And then we can take the brightness all the way up to white. So there we go. Unselect that. And then I still have it on soft light, but if you can do overlay, soft light, hard light, there's a lot of fun different things you can do if you mess with the blending modes. But we are going to do soft light. And then you can turn back on your pattern and you have this image that can be repeated. So I'm going to save this as a JPEG. So hit the little wrench, hit share, and then JPEG. And then just to show you, if you insert this in a new document, then it can be repeated, and not only does the hearts repeat, but the background texture does too. So let me quickly do this and I will show you. Okay, so we will merge all those, and you can see it is completely seamless right down the middle. There is no separation in our background or in our hearts. So there we have it. That is how we do a seamless repeat texture in Procreate. See you guys next time.